By my power, werewolves shall become the Wolfir, our allies in combat against darkness. Avacyn's curse mute decree, flavor text of joint assault. The curse of lycanthropy is perhaps one of the most dreadful fates one can be subjected to on the world of Innistrad. Those who suffer its grip are a victim to an agonizing transformation, one that merges the very nature of man and beast. They become something dark, predatory, and full of a terrible hunger. During the day, many masquerade as normal members of society, yet under the light of the silver moon, packs of werewolves prowl the countryside, ever seeking to pacify their own monstrous hunger with the flesh of fellow humans. While many come to fully embrace their own bestial nature and the effects of the curse, there are scores of werewolves that are deeply troubled by their own transformation. Overcome with beastly urges, they dread the coming moon and the monstrous threat that they become to others. Some, in a desperate attempt to spare the lives of their loved ones, will lock themselves away or become isolated from the rest of the world. They become hermits, living alone, far away from any potential midnight victims. And others still find companionship in their new lives. Groups of lycanthropes will occasionally form together in what is known as a howl pack, an assembly of werewolves. These communities dot the wilds of Innistrad, composed of anywhere from 20 to hundreds of individuals. They band together, hunt together, and even form their own traits and norms that the individual howl packs conform to. Whatever path a werewolf chooses to take, they are without doubt among the most dangerous predators to inhabit the lands of Innistrad. Werewolves are a constant threat to mankind, and are often a target for hunts organized by the Church of Avacyn. Even with the disappearance of the Archangel, the Cathars of the Church would take the fight to the werewolves. In the Keswick village of Gatstaff, the people would take their desire to be rid of these beasts to the extreme. Under the leadership of the town elder Coleman, the people of Gatstaff were whipped into a frenzy. Overwhelmed by paranoia and fear, the villagers assembled into mobs, hunting down any they suspected of being werewolves or of sheltering them. This would culminate in one of the most vicious acts committed in the village. Before a crowd, Coleman would have 4 suspected werewolves executed. Though their curse was not verified, enough evidence was presented to suspect their nature. Though the folks in the crowd would cheer at the deaths of these suspected werewolves, it later became evident that at least one among them was innocent. Even as the nightly hunts continued, some in the village would come to believe they were becoming just as savage as the werewolves. When the Hell Vault was cracked open and Avacyn was freed, the people of Gatstaff, like all members of the church, found themselves reinvigorated. Empowered by the return of the Archangel, Coleman would call to himself many holy Cathars and Inquisitors of the Church, and began what he would call the Gatstaff Hunt. For even though Avacyn was freed, the howl packs in the region continued to harass the town. All the men under Coleman's command were assembled, and they would go about scouring the forests for the werewolves. On a moonlit night, the Gatstaff hunt clashed with the werewolves of the region, battling not far from a local grotto, a spring and holy site of the church. As the fight dragged on, the strength of Avacyn's magic, which flowed through the priests, their weapons, and even the local shrines, began to overpower the werewolves and gave them the strength to turn back into their human form. One by one, the hunters saw their prey turning back into friends, family, fellow villagers. With no casualties, the two sides came together and traveled to the grotto and prayed to Avacyn for aid in breaking the werewolf's curse once and for all. As the assembled men and lycanthropes offered up their prayers, Avacyn herself appeared before them. Though she was the guardian of mankind, though her power eclipsed all others, though she empowered all who walked in her light, Avacyn was incapable of curing the werewolves of their curse. She explained to the assembly that the curse of lycanthropy intermingled the soul of man with the soul of the wild, and to destroy one would surely destroy the other. As an alternative, Avacyn offered to the werewolves the opportunity to be transformed, to become guardians of humanity instead of its predators. The werewolves, grateful, accepted. Avacyn would weave together a series of spells and blessings, creating a truly powerful magic. This magic, called the Curse Mute, washed over the plane of Innistrad as a wave. It altered and changed many of the curses present in the world, chief of all, the curse of lycanthropy. Those werewolves that accepted Avacyn's blessing found themselves transformed. Their human and beastly souls were merged together into one pure entity. No longer were they savage beasts that threatened their loved ones. Now they were noble defenders of humanity. Now they were the Wolfir, and they would aid the church in fighting back against the darkness. Much like the werewolves that came before, the Wolfir organized themselves into packs and roamed the countryside, defending the people from the creatures of the night. Mightier than any sword and sturdier than any shield, these noble wolves would be some of the greatest defenders of humanity. But on the accursed world of Innistrad, that which is good rarely lasts for long. As the Archangel Avacyn, influenced by the machinations of Nahiri, became corrupted and ascended into madness, she began to revoke many of the blessings she had bestowed upon the world. Priests and Cathars felt their power weakening. Holy wards would fail, and the Wolfir found themselves reverting back into their accursed werewolf state. Men would awake and discover, to their horror, that they had transformed the night before and devoured their loved ones. Savagery would creep back into their hearts, and as the madness spread, werewolves once again became a dire threat to humanity. Few Wolfir remain after Avacyn's madness and death. A handful of the ones that still linger have banded together, becoming a holy howl pack known as the Silver Firs. Led by the pair of Pavel and Johanna, the Silver Firs remain stalwart defenders of humanity, even as the darkness on Innistrad grows more grim once again. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or sharing this video with your friends. If you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, you'll be alerted whenever I upload new videos. If you have a topic you'd like me to discuss, feel free to let me know in the comments section below. Finally, if you'd like to support me directly, well, I've created a Patreon for this channel. If you like what I do and want to help me out, go check it out. A link to it will be in the description below. Thanks again, and have a great day. Ooh woo.